Hey everybody, it's Ansley from Planet Yoga, and I'm going to be answering a question about balance in tree pose. So we're going to do a couple poses leading up to it to build our balance. First one we'll do is Tadasana with the block. So we put the block between the upper thighs, which does a couple of things. One, it helps us keep the feet hip width apart, and the other thing that it's going to do to help us get better balance in tree pose is to bring some awareness to the muscles of the inner thighs, to the adductors. So we're squeezing this block between the inner thighs, which also helps us to root through the feet a little bit more. I can feel the mat underneath all 10 toes and underneath all 4 corners of my feet. So I squeeze this block, drawing the inner thighs together, which is helping me to find a little bit more balance. So now we'll do the next pose leading up to better balance in tree pose, which is Ardha Chandrasana. And we'll use a chair for this pose because this will help me balance a little bit more, and it also will help you improve your half moon pose. So we'll come to the chair. I'm going to bring my hands to the chair first. My heels are pretty much right underneath my hips right now. I'll start by taking the right leg up. Just going to take it up till it's just about at hip height. And now I'm going to come down. I'm going to draw the chair a little closer to me. I'm going to come down so I can bring the elbow right under the shoulder, and I have my forearm on the chair. And as I'm standing here, I can already feel that balance starting to just get a little iffy. So I'm going to root through the inner edge of my foot just a little bit more. I'm pressing into the ball of my foot, into the mound of the big toe. And when I feel stable here, I'll go to the next phase of this pose, using my back inner thigh to keep this leg up and to help me balance. I'll take the right hand to the hip and slowly start to roll the hips open, keeping that right heel at about the same height as the hip. And now as my left leg starts to wiggle, you may even be able to see it, the more I press into the inner edge of my foot and use the muscles of my inner thighs, the better my balance gets. And then we start to roll open. We can keep that top hand on the hip, or we can take that arm up to the ceiling. And I'm going to go ahead and come out of this pose before I fall out. And we roll back down, and we'll put that foot back down. So now we're ready for tree pose. So I'll turn the chair. If you don't have a chair, you can use the wall. You can use anything. This is just a little bit of moral support for tree pose. So we'll start bringing we'll bring the right foot in and let it rest against the inner edge of the left foot. And notice if I start to roll to the outer edge of my foot, I'm leaning to the left. So I need to make sure, again, I'm rooting through the inner edge of that foot. I'm using my inner thigh to help keep my hip open. So here we go. This is our first little stop for tree pose. Now if we want to take it up a little bit, let's bring that foot up a little bit higher on the leg. So now it's resting against the shin of my left leg. I'm going to press that foot into my leg, and then I feel my inner thigh starting to fire up a little bit. And notice I'm still holding on. Again, I need this little moral support, and that's just fine. Then I can even let go. Bring the hands to the heart center. Pressing my foot into the leg, pressing my leg back into the foot, kind of like we just did when we had the block between the inner thighs for Tadasana. So now if you want to make it interesting, let's move the chair away from us just a little bit, and then grab that foot, and let's bring it all the way up into the top of the thigh. And now if I just let myself get floppy, my balance starts to go. So I'm going to root, again, press through the inner edge of that supporting foot, press this foot into my leg, and press the leg back into my foot, and boy, do I feel those inner thighs starting to really fire up. I'll bring the hands to the heart center. Here's your tree pose. Namaste.